So imagine this. 1 second, you're scrolling through your endless feed of dog memes and then bam, the power goes out. But it's not your average blackout. This time the lights don't come back on after a few hours or even a few days. This is the real deal, a nationwide long-term blackout. Now suddenly the dark isn't just an inconvenience, it's a serious threat. As the days drag on, people become, let's say, a little less friendly. Welcome to the new normal. Today we're talking about exactly what you need to do to secure your home and protect yourself. Because in a situation like this, things can go sideways real fast, especially in a city. So stick through the whole video, because all of these could keep you alive if it comes down to it. Why people are the real threat in a blackout. Let's start with a dose of reality. When the lights go out for a few days, society has this quaint notion that things will stay calm and we'll all sing kumbaya around a candle. Wrong. Studies show that during power outages, there's a significant increase in crime. And in a long-term blackout, people turn desperate, and desperation is just a few steps away from chaos. Granted, there will still be safe groups and communities who will be calmer and indeed singing kumbaya, but be wary of all, because desperate times call for desperate measures. The Department of Homeland Security did a study where they found that after only 72 hours of a nationwide blackout, even well-behaved neighborhoods start turning a bit unruly. Think panic buying, looting, and then whatever happens next. Food, water, shelter, and security become precious resources. And unfortunately, not everyone plays fair. Even as absurd and ridiculous as it is, yes, there would be folks looting giant TVs, gaming consoles, and all the fancy tech that would be completely useless in the blackout. Unless you've got generators and a little knowledge. But let's be honest, most looters probably are too lazy for all of that. So let's break down what you need to know to secure your home in a long-term blackout and keep the chaos on the outside where it belongs. 1. Don't make your home look like the jackpot first rule. Don't advertise yourself as the house with all the good stuff. When a blackout drags on, people start looking for resources wherever they can. A brightly lit, inviting home with plenty of supplies might as well have a neon sign that says, "Loot me." So what do? First, blackout curtains. You want to make sure that no light or movement inside can be seen from the outside. Cover your windows with thick blankets or black fabric to block out any hints of candles, flashlights, or anything that screams, "I still have resources." Then, limit the smells coming from your home. Cooking food can attract attention from a mile away when people are hungry. Stick to cold or packaged foods, and try to use an indoor grill or small cooking device that doesn't give off strong scents. It's a low-profile way of staying fed without turning into a walking snack ad for your neighborhood. You also want your home to still appear lived in, so you don't have unwanted visitors, but do so in slightly more barbaric ways, such as defense systems. 2. Reinforce your doors and window. Alright, let's talk security basics. In a long-term blackout, your front door is about as valuable as your bank account. Most intruders look for easy access points, so your job is to make your home the least appealing option possible. Did you know that more than 30% of burglars enter through the front door? So let's make that front door a little more intimidating. A simple way to do this is by installing a strong deadbolt lock, ideally one rated for high security. If you want to go a step further, install a door barricade. These are metal bars that reinforce the door from the inside, and they're pretty cheap but can buy you precious time. Now, if you're feeling a bit more DIY, grab a sturdy chair and wedge it under the doorknob. It's a classic trick, but hey, it works. For windows, grab some dowels or thick sticks and place them in the tracks of sliding windows. This makes them harder to force open. And if you've got some plywood lying around, boarding up windows can add another layer of protection. Plus, plywood is nice and cheap, so stock up before the next blackout season. 3. Setting up silent alarms. Let's face it, you don't want to wait until someone's already in your house to realize they're there. Alarms without power can seem impossible, but you'd be surprised at the low-tech solutions available. Think DIY tripwires and bells. You can rig up a simple alert system with some fishing line and a few cans. String the fishing line around potential entry points, doors, windows, or even in the hallway leading to your living area. When someone trips the line, the cans clink together, making noise. It's not pretty, but it works. You can even use bells if you want to add a little holiday spirit to your home defense. Speaking of alarms and bells, I'd love it if you clicked on that subscribe and like button so I can make more of these videos. 4. Bright ideas for staying safe in the dark now. When there's no power, there's no light, and that darkness can actually work in your favor. The trick here is controlled lighting. Use flashlights with red filters or get a few red light bulbs if you can. Red light isn't as harsh as white light, so it's harder to spot from outside, and it preserves your night vision. Plus, it gives your place a bit of that fortress vibe. Solar-powered garden lights are another genius hack. Leave them outside during the day, then bring them inside at night. It's free energy and won't make you a target because they don't throw a ton of light. 5. Set up a safe room. Let's hope it doesn't come to this, but it's smart to have a fallback plan. Pick a room in your house that has a single, easily defensible entrance. Stock it with essentials, non-perishable food, water, first aid supplies, and if you can, a way to communicate, like a battery-operated radio. This room should be your Alamo, a place where you can hunker down if intruders make it inside. 6. Building a neighborhood network. Carefully. In times of crisis, there's some truth to strength in numbers. Ideally, you can team up with a few trusted neighbors. Start casual conversations now about disaster preparedness. Find people who share your mindset, because come blackout time, these are the people you'll want on your side. But be careful. Avoid discussing your supplies or specific plans unless you know for sure they can be trusted. In a long-term blackout, alliances can shift, and the last thing you need is someone who knows exactly what you have and where to find it. Surely you've seen some zombie or apocalypse-based media depicting civilizations and communities that still maintain some form of order amongst the chaos. Unfortunately, just like the mostly civilized government we have now, there are power trips and control freaks. In other words, don't show off too much of your knowledge or what you have, because you might just have your time, resources, and efforts adopted into a community that could be even more dangerous than you living alone. 7. Self-defense essentials. Sometimes a blackout means you might need to protect yourself physically. We won't get too into specifics, but having some form of personal protection is crucial. Pepper spray, a sturdy baseball bat, or if you're trained, a more professional option, whatever works for you. The key here is to have something you're comfortable using and keeping close. In a world full of needless consumerism, there is almost always an opportunity for an item of self-defense. Whether that be broken pieces of pipe, metal, or carefully used glass shards which make a great makeshift knife for cutting rope when very careful. 8. Don't forget communication and intel knowledge is power. A battery-operated radio or a hand crank model can be your best friend in a long-term blackout. Staying informed will help you know if the blackout is citywide, statewide, or nationwide. Some radios have channels dedicated to emergency updates, so keep it tuned in to get real-time information. Also consider walkie-talkies. In the age of smartphones, they might seem outdated, but when cell towers go down, they'll be invaluable if you have a trusted friend or neighbor nearby. I use a walkie-talkie casually now simply for quicker communication on the farm, and it's so much more convenient than calling on a phone for quick communication. Just be sure you're on a secure channel. Other survivors could be listening in with not the nicest intentions. However, if you're seeking to join a community, this may also be your way in. Conclusion. So, there you have it. Everything you need to secure your home in a long-term blackout. Remember, the key is to stay low-key, make entry as tough as possible, and prepare for the worst without panicking. It's all about creating an environment where intruders think twice before trying anything. Sure, it's a little dark, a bit intense, but hey, better safe than sorry, right? Thanks for sticking through the whole video. I truly appreciate you, and please consider a like and subscribe so we can spread more survival knowledge to the big web before there is no web. Kidding. See you again soon.